you cannot describe a family or define a family without a mother, a matriarch who leads the herd to proper vegetation. Wow, a mother. Someone once said that, I believe he wasn't a Christian, he said that God could not be everywhere, so he created a woman. But we know God is omnipresent anyway. But he had a point in describing who a mother is. Today we have a mother, not just a mother, but my mother. She's going to tell us about colorectal cancer, or just simply said, cancer of the colon. Welcome to the show, Florence Atieno Owade. Say hi to our viewers.
Hi, viewers.
And of course, I mean, that is a very few times that I call my mom with her full name. Of course, we have a treatment supporter, the second last born son, John Riaga, who is also here with us just to explain to us a little bit more about the support. John, say hi to the viewer.
Hello, viewer.
Thank you so much. As usual and as always, we have Richard and Tabitha. Say hi to these lovely people.
Hi, viewer. Welcome.
Hello, viewer. You're most welcome.
And next to me, as always, is Linda. Let me just call her Linda Adhiambo Okeyo Dev. Say hi to the viewer.
Hi, viewer. Welcome back.
Now, Ma'am, briefly tell us about yourself. Of course, tell the viewer about yourself, who you are. Yes.
Okay, my name's Atieno Florence Owade. I'm 68 years. I became 68 by July 21st. This year. And I thank God for that. I'm a retired nurse, but not tired. I'm a mother of 5, 4 sons and 1 daughter. Yeah. So I worked until the year 2007 is when I retired. But I thank God and I say God is great, because all this time throughout I was working. I never became sick. I couldn't sleep in the hospital because of delivery. But come 2012, I started feeling unwell. And the signs I was feeling, I could go to the hospital. They tell me I have typhoid, I have amoebiasis. They give me treatment for that. When the drugs are finished, I go back. I say, still I'm not feeling well. They tell me, repeat the treatment. One time I was so annoyed because I went to a mission hospital thinking I could get proper treatment. They told me to restart again the treatment I was given. I said, how can I restart the treatment? And I've taken the treatment, there's no improvement. So I was supposed to go and visit my daughter. She doesn't live here in Kenya, so she called me to go and visit her. When I went to visit her in Australia, I stayed there for I was to stay there for 3 months. When I finished 1 month, you know those people, they don't eat vegetables. So it was meat, chicken. I started feeling a lot of pain. But before I went, the laboratory people at our place in the hospital, the district hospital, they noticed there was blood in my stool, I told them. But the examinations they were doing were not the specialized ones, so they could not see anything. When I went to Gandia Mission, still it was the same. So when I went to Australia, when I started feeling the pain, my daughter took me to the hospital. So that doctor also ordered stool examination. Then I told him, but this I've done several times and they are not getting anything. But the problem I had, which I told the doctor, when I was feeling like opening bowels, I could not open bowels properly, but I could blot. And when I look at my that blotting, I could see pure blood. So I went to the laboratory.
Ma'am, just hold on to that as you go to the laboratory. When you talked about people in that country, you talked about that they don't take vegetables. I saw John smiling. John, Ma'am was getting sick. Did that worry you?
Yeah, when every other time we've always known her as a very strong person. So when constantly she kept complaining about this pain in her stomach, and I don't know, fortunately or unfortunately in the family, I think it's only Dave who is close to medicine. So the rest of us were just looking at her and saying, but you are the nurse. You can sort this out without making us worried.
Yeah.
So there was a bit of, thinking and worrying here and there.
So Mom, you went to the lab. You were sent to the lab. Let's take us through that.
Okay, then I was told to go for the results after 3 days. When I went back for the results, the laboratory people also noticed that blood. But they themselves, they never took it lightly. They recommended in their report that if such a thing happens, if there is pure blood in the stool, then more examination should be done. So I was referred to see a surgeon. And I was given a date. I was booked. The day I was booked to see the doctor was the day I was coming back to Kenya.
That was 5th of May.
5th of May.
2013?
2012.
2012.
So I just came back, but I was sick. And it was a long journey from Australia to Kenya, passing through South Africa, eating those snacks of the things I did not want to eat. When I came off the plane, I was so tired I could not even walk. So my brother's wife came for me from the airport. I went to their house. When I reached the house, it is an apartment. I had to go up. By the time I reached the house, they opened the door. I just passed and sat on the table and I collapsed there.
Wow.
Oh no.
She called my sister, come and take your sister to the hospital. So I was taken to Aga Khan. And the investigations they wanted to do were very expensive. I could not afford. They wanted 48,000
In that instant.
that instant.
And Richard, I remember during that time
Yes.
that Mom was just traveling back from Australia, my sister called me and told me, Mom is coming back and she's not very well. Please, as soon as she lands, find a way. And I remember I contacted a doctor friend of mine, but then he's now a professor. And I told him the history because I remember the onset
Yes.
of her sickness. He told me, as soon as your mom lands, make sure she's here. That was in Eldoret. Mom is still in Nairobi. And that collapsing thing, we didn't know about it until much later on. Yeah. So she travels back to Kenya, Mom.
So after the collapse, you were taken to the hospital, I guess.
Yes.
Yes. Tell us what happened then.
When I went to the hospital, my sister took me to her doctor, an Asian lady. She also recommended me to be seen by the surgeon for the colonoscopy examination. That is an examination being done through the colon.
Yes.
And then they put a screen there behind and you have to check on the screen to see what is happening to your system.
Yes.
So they wanted that money I've talked about, that 40,000, it was for that and for the surgeon to see. And then when I talked to the family members, they told me, just come back here. We go to Eldoret to find out if we can get it at a cheaper price.
Yes.
And that Asian was also telling me I can go to Kenyatta. And Kenyatta, they wanted 10,000.
Oh, that was way cheaper.
So I was thinking of coming home. Home is best because there are people there.
Oh
we
yes, you have the
socialize.
family support.
So I really didn't want my children to know much
You
about what was happening.
Yeah.
What is it with you, mamas? You don't like your children to know some of these things.
I know them, like the boys, they are so worried. Even that time I was sick.
Yes.
When I was to go for operation, they were far. It is only the wife to my elder son who was with me. And they were fearing, they were saying no. And the worst part of it, the type of cancer I was diagnosed with, it was called adenocarcinoma. And adenocarcinoma is the cancer which spreads.
Okay.
So some of them, you call it Google.
Yes, they
or
Google.
WhatsApp.
Yes.
We went to the
Yeah.
Internet.
to the channel,
Yeah.
internet.
Yeah.
They were so scared.
Definitely.
So I didn't want to show them that face off. Although I knew that was a cancer which was
Spreading.
spreading.
I just wanted to find out, like, you remember you're a nurse, you know all these things, and you know that this kind of cancer does this and this. Did it worry you?
Before I went for that examination, before my blood was taken for cancer test in Eldoret, the doctor he gave me also is the dean of faculty
Right.
there in Eldoret. So he counseled me and
Oh, that's
told me, first of all, he said, he told me, maybe you are just having some ulcers. I told him, no, doctor.
You know.
These are not ulcers. Then he asked me, why are you saying that it's not ulcer? I told him there are two types of ulcers. There is peptic ulcer, which you feel pain here.
Right.
Yes.
We have duodenal ulcer,
Yes.
whereby you get, your stool will be coffee brown.
Yes.
And mine is pure blood.
Blood.
Then he asked me, what are you suspecting? Maybe it is a cancer.
Wow.
Then he asked me, and if it is a cancer, how will you react? I told him, I'll just take it normally. And I didn't tell him I'm a nurse during this time.
Okay.
You know, Tabby, even during that, before she went to see the doctor,
Right.
she mentioned something casually
Yes.
to me.
Yes.
She said, I think this could be cancer.
Wow.
And you know,
I
the much
know.
I know about cancer,
Yeah.
and you know, that was so heavy for me. I had to try to disseminate this. I called him.
Yes.
He hung up on me
Like,
after
what are you
telling
saying?
him that mom has cancer, because I was the one who was with her at the time the doctor was breaking the news.
Wow.
When I called my sister, she simply asked me, is it a death sentence? I can't forget that. And I told her, we are yet to confirm that.
Dave,
That was...
before mom comes back into it, I know I've seen my mom at some point suffer duodenal cancer, ulcer, you know. And once she went to the toilet and fell down, and we all rushed there, and we thought she was dying. You know, now, by then, I was still young, and this word cancer was not a very common word, you know. I can't just imagine if that were the situation then today. And
It
you're
was
told
not
that-
even a word. Even I worked for 30 years
Yes.
as a nurse.
Yeah.
We had very few patients who
Yes.
had cancer.
Oh, cancer, yes.
Yeah. There were very few.
I think the lifestyle was also different. We ate well. We ate like our grandmothers did. And
Maybe,
So-
maybe John could just tell us his reaction, why he had to hang up. I've never asked him. This is the time now to tell us.
that was rude, right?
I thought so.
No, we you know, like Mom said, we are a bit emotional.
Right.
Yeah, with issues, and that's why reason one, she didn't want us to get to know.
Yeah.
So, but you know, Dave being the last one was the one tasked with the responsibility of knowing ahead of all of us. So, yeah, when he called with that information, like you said, my elder sister just asked, is it a death sentence? And so when he called me, like he says, I just hung up because that is not what I wanted to hear.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, that is not what I wanted to hear.
Indeed.
When you hear about cancer, you just see death. That's what many people always look at cancer.
Yeah.
So it's threatening.
So there you are, Mom. You now you got to know what it was. I mean, confirmation came. You already suspected it was.
Yeah.
Yes. So then, what happened?
My reaction,
Yes.
yeah. I'm the one who was given the result, put in a basha. I sat somewhere in the corridor, opened the basha,
Yes. Read it.
then I read. After reading, I took it to the professor.
Yes.
He's now a professor. At that time he was doctor. When I took to him, is when he started telling me the story of his wife. His wife had breast cancer, then was removed one breast, remained with one,
Yes.
but she was doing well. Then he asked me, what now do we do? I said, just, you are the one to see what to do. Then he told me, I'm going to get you a surgeon to see you.
Yeah.
He gave me a very good surgeon called Dr. Paklea at Pokot, a very keen doctor. And that doctor, seeing him was a problem. I went to the hospital almost 3 times. He was ever in theatre throughout. But I was determined.
Yes.
And I said, God is great and I know what he has for me. So even the very doctor was the first elder in their church.
Oh.
Oh, God.
Sunshine.
Yes.
And I told him, Doctor, me, I'm not afraid. If it is death, I'll die. If I'm to live, I'll live. God knows my case.
And that is basically how she would talk to us.
Wow.
I still don't know to date who broke the news to our father.
Yeah, I wanted to ask her, like, Mom, after you read it, your kids already knew. Did you talk to your husband about it, or whom did you first call?
The first person to know was Dave because we were with him.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So you didn't call any other person.
I didn't call any other
So
person.
they're the ones who told family. Dave is the one who told.
And then I think they talked about of it in the Facebook, because even my relatives now they had to know, because I was to undergo operation, which is very expensive. So we had to consult.
Yeah, true, true.
And when I was still in Australia, my daughter told me, Mom, don't think you are going to die. You'll be treated. We had gone to a mall and she wanted to buy me some things. I told her, don't buy me those things. I don't want those clothes. She said, no, you are not going to die.
I like that.
Wow.
You will be treated. She gave me courage.
Yeah, and hope.
And hope. And even the doctor told their pastor at Sunshine, Pastor Lele, he gave the story. So when I came from the hospital, I don't want to take much time. I'll skip some things.
That's all right.
I only stayed in the hospital for 4 days. I went home with a bandage because when doctor came to see me, he found me walking. Then he said, I want to see you walk. I walked up to the door. He told me to come back. Then I told him, give me discharge. I'm going to stay at home.
Wow.
That was on a Thursday. I was discharged. Friday I stayed. On Saturday, I told my elder son, the wife we were with at the hospital, I'm going to church with the bandage. I went. And Dr. Diero was there. He's called Dr. Diero.
Professor.
The professor, he was there. He had given the pastor the message, how courageous I was. Then pastor called me behind. I gave him the message. We talked. Then he prayed for me. Then I told him, me, I'm not afraid. After all, few people will be left living. Most of the people will die. Wow. So I'll be either.
Either or.
Yeah.
Ma'am, we want to take a short break, and John, you will talk because I see you are burning. But just before you talk, let's take a short break, take a sip of water, and we continue with this loving story. We'll be back. Family Times continues with a story of a resilient mother and a wife, a sister, aunt, name it all. Grandma. I'm reminded, grandmother. Now, before we went for a break, John, you were coming in.
Yeah, I wanted to mention because Mom is talking about the encouragement that she was getting from one quarter, but there was also something going on inside her. Yes. I think the whole issue of we are immortal and we will all die someday. So, we were there confused at one point. You want to deal with this, but on the other hand, is it being human or being Christian? She's saying we will all live one day. The other thing I wanted to say is I remember at some point she got mad, because once we learned that we'll need some money to go through all those things, and so when we were talking to friends on social media, so some people were calling her based on what they've heard on social media, and she was blasting us. Why are you telling everyone that
Why are you telling everyone?
you leave me alone?
Yes,
Of course.
Yeah, but those are things we had to go through.
Linda, you were taking care of Mom.
Yeah. I remember when she went for surgery, and we were to do like shift. My brig Nyika, the first one, was to do it at night, and during the day I will come in. We will always shift. And I remember one day when I was there and she told me, I'm feeling so odd when I feel this catheter in here. It makes me feel uncomfortable, and so I can't imagine I'm in this state.
Yes.
But I told her it is going to be for a short while and it is going to be okay. But what made me look at her in a different way, she had this positive attitude. I remember she told me, I'm not going to stay here for 3 days.
Wow.
And for sure, you could find her walking. One day I wanted to take her to the washroom. She told me, just let me go. And I left her and she went and came back, but I was at the door just in case I hear anything. But I thank God because her positive attitude also made us also take it on.
Dave, you were the one to break the news when Mom was diagnosed with this cancer. We haven't known how you felt. In your silent moments, being the last born, as it were, what went through your mind?
I had mixed reactions, Richard, because at some point, Mom was trying to encourage us, just like John is saying.
Yes.
But at the same time, looking at her condition, to be sincere, I knew Mom was dying. The only thing I didn't know is that when. So we decided to enjoy every little moment that we had. And that is why we decided to even take the kids. My brother's last born and my firstborn are almost age mates. So we decided to take these kids to the hospital where Mom was just before she got discharged. And these kids will just hang around her all the time. I don't know, but I felt that was also therapeutic to Mom because in her strength,
Yes.
even as weak as she was, she could... I mean, she was also enjoying this good moment that we had. So that was me then, because I knew at some point that it was going to be rough and difficult for us.
Of course.
That has just reminded, let me cut you short. We have a close relative of mine, like really, really close, and she got some terminal condition. And when she broke the news to us, I won't lie to you, it was not very easy. But you know, we have to be strong for each other. At times, deep in your heart, you're doubting, and that's the truth. But you have to just let the person know, Mama, it will be okay. So because if you worry, if somebody has a condition, and here we are, really, oh my goodness, is it going to really, that really discourages a person. So that energy that you also had and Mama had also really helps a long way.
And
I think it takes a lot of strength for Mom to sit you down, probably talk to you, to give you encouragement, knowing that in her demise, you people might really suffer a lot of pain and loss and all that. But even in that situation, Mom, what did you think about your family? Dave's dad. What was his place? What do you have to say about it?
Anyway, Dave's dad is a quiet man.
just
Very
like me.
quiet.
Just like me.
Oh, okay. Everybody wants to claim to be that quiet now. All right.
He was so worried
Yes.
that I even told them, leave your father alone. But at my back, they made arrangements for him to come from home up to Eldoret, where I was, to come and see me.
Okay.
He was so worried because of finance. We are both retired.
Yes.
We are not working. We were relying on these people and they could not get that money. But we did put everything to God. At one time, one of my sisters told me, don't go for that surgery. That was when I was being wheeled. I was telling my daughter-in-law, tell Flo not to go. They call me Flo. Tell Flo not to go for that surgery.
Actually, she called me and told me, Dave, I think we need to hold as a family. We are taking things very fast. Let us pause and think.
Okay.
When I heard about that, I told them, forget about Betty. She's called Betty, my sister.
Yes.
I'm the one who is going for surgery. I have decided to go.
Yes.
My life is my own life. I'm going.
So you
I was
went.
being wheeled.
Yes.
And I went.
Sometimes she can be very stubborn.
Yeah.
So when I went, We had to look for money. We didn't have not even a single cent. Dave went, took a loan where he was working, 20,000. It was what we paid for the deposit. Then relatives started bringing in money.
Yeah.
We used, that's all the money we used in the hospital when I was admitted, leaving about investigations, was over 500,000.
Wow.
A lot of money.
After
and
that-
this was contributions from even my uncles, my aunties,
After
our
that-
friends, everyone contributed.
I thought I was done.
Right.
Going to the doctor, and I was also given another very good doctor by the same professor now,
Yes.
called Dr. Chita, oncologist. When I went to that clinic, I was told, now that you are done with the surgery, we are still with you. You have to undergo chemotherapy.
Wow.
Wow.
When you thought you're done.
Now, at that point, Mama, and you being a nurse, you have the
Yes.
medical background. The surgery has been done. Is it very necessary that this has to be done?
In fact, I asked that question.
Yes.
You're asking. I asked the surgeon.
Okay.
He told me we have to do that chemo because during that surgery, we had some spills of blood. You can never know
Oh, okay.
from the cut. So we want to kill all these cells,
Okay.
Yes.
cancer cells. We want them to die. So you have to undergo that chemotherapy. But from the experience I had, people are dying because of poverty.
Poverty.
That chemotherapy I was going every 2 weeks. I was to go to Eldoret from Oyugis to Eldoret. Leaving transport, I was using 24,000, 25 on medicine.
That's a lot.
Wow. Wow.
And the treatment area, it is called basement, was pathetic. People are seated the way you are seated on plastic chairs. You are put a drip, you put your hand like this, you stay for 6-8 hours.
Seated.
Yes,
That's not comfortable.
it is not getting
It is not.
treatment when you
And maybe
And
just
those
to,
drugs, they are toxic.
Definitely.
yeah.
They are toxic. When you
remember.
come out from there, you are so tired, you are vomiting, you lose appetite.
I wanted to find out from John, did it affect your your finances? Because remember, mom is sick, and it's not only Dave who has to give. Did it
Dave
affect?
just gave the deposit.
Yeah.
Everyone, actually.
Everyone had to.
Everyone worked by the
We were
work.
searching for money. Looking back 7 years, I think it was just by the grace of God.
It was by the grace
Yeah,
of God.
because I remember we did not call for any fundraising anywhere. We just struggled through.
So that means your life definitely changed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it did.
Yeah.
It did change. I remember we had to agree with Linda not to. I had just gotten a job
Yeah.
in 2012, and we were thinking now this is now a better way. Maybe Linda can tell us her reaction towards
yeah.
all this, because it is also important, because as she was supporting mom,
Right.
I also needed support from her side.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, what I can say is when we had now to redo our budget
Definitely.
so that at least some of the money can be channeled to mom's treatment, and we really had to adjust. And again, I wanted to really thank my sisters-in-laws. They are very nice, very supportive, and all of us, people could call mom anytime, and she could be encouraged. They are very wonderful women, and may God bless them so much.
I get a feeling that your
United.
family support system was very strong.
Yeah.
You know, that tells a lot about yourself, because having to be supported like that, you must have been a very supporting
Definitely.
mother-in-law and mother to the
True,
boys
true.
and all that and everyone. And I don't know, John, what you would say when mom was in that situation. You were a small family. How was it affected, given the attachment? Because you say you're very emotional.
Yeah.
Yes.
Your wife must have suffered too.
Yeah, you know, I'm named after
The father.
uncle.
My uncle.
Oh,
Yeah,
Okay.
so called Meira. And, you know, there is that attachment, and you know, but I think I breastfed even longer than.
I can see.
We can see.
He was even beating Dave.
But he's older than Dave, so.
Yeah, so
Tabby had to survive. I'm still surviving.
Because Dave was born,
Yes.
now he was to be taken away from breastfeeding.
Oh.
So Dave came in. He
Oh,
could
so
go
now
pull
I
Dave.
understand. Oh, like, get out.
but I was going to say, yeah, there was we were affected because even as we were battling this, you know, we had our own emotional issues that we had to deal with. Somebody had to come and tell us, you guys,
It is
you know, relax. You know, 2 weeks is such a short time. You know, you've just raised 25,000 and in about 10, 12 days,
You
we are
need
told
to again.
she's going back to Eldoret and you
Yeah.
have to. So, yeah, that happened.
That's a lot,
Training,
yeah.
it's training in all ways. Yes.
Richard, maybe I could ask Linda, and of course, Mom, your lowest moment, because you spent some time with Mom in the hospital before she got discharged.
Yeah, there's a time when I could see her in pain. And you can just imagine her, seeing her the way she was strong, and then you see her in such deep pain. It really pained me. I really felt bad. And again, when she went for chemo, when she could come back to the house, she could vomit. You could see her in pain, vomiting, and getting weak. It is so traumatizing. Yeah.
Mom, your lowest
Lowest.
moments. I know there are many, but
It was just during that chemo time. And because I was vomiting a lot, but the doctors wanted me to eat because you can't go through chemo if your hemoglobin is low.
Yes.
It has to be. You want to eat. But I thank God because I could not eat these other foods, but I was eating a lot of vegetables and fruits. Anytime I could pass through Nandi Hills, I was buying guavas.
Yeah, very
Carrying the guavas for my grandchildren to eat. We were eating the guavas. I do that until one time doctor told me,
What are you doing?
today I want you to tell these people what you are doing, that you never miss your treatment because your HB is low. I told them I eat plenty of vegetables and fruits.
so
And
that's
that
a
helped
mixture
me a
of
lot.
high and low and very high moments, because she told me about her hemoglobin level. It was the last time she checked
amazing,
in, it was quite low. But when she changed her eating system,
Right.
the next time she went to the hospital, it was about 18. And the last time,
Yes.
it was less than 10.
Wow, that's huge.
That was a big change, and the doctor said, keep on doing this.
What you're doing.
Yeah.
So, Mom, okay, tell us more. Like, okay, are you still on treatment or?
I finished treatment after chemotherapy. So when I went the last time, I was done examinations. They told me I'm free.
Amen.
And now, from after that treatment,
Yes.
I can eat anything.
Right.
I have no problem with my stomach.
Amen.
Only that when I was about to finish the treatments, when I started limping on this side, then doctor asked me, why are you limping? By that time, I was not even feeling pain. I said, I've also seen just my leg going like that, like somebody who has had stroke. But then he gave me some drugs and he told me that will end.
Oh,
But since my stomach is okay,
yes.
my legs are not my worry.
Right.
I get support with my bakora.
Yes.
I do all what I want to do.
But you're still eating healthy.
Yes.
Good.
I'm
That's
still eating. So,
I just wanted to ask, you know, we are running against time. What is the reason for this resilience, this strength that you have shown, this continuity that you exercise, that makes you such a strong person?
there's a song I like which says,
A song.
it is so sweet to trust in Jesus.
Just to take
And
in
it is
His
just
word.
that trust has kept me on.
Wow. Wow.
Because even as I limp, I never even miss going to church.
Yes.
I do my things, I can cook for my family, I can do all what I do. I have nobody, I have no house help.
Oh,
Yes.
But I would rather do my things my way, slowly by slowly, until I finish them.
Wow.
So, I trust in God.
Amen. Amen.
Richard,
and I know he has something for me.
We are out of time.
And that's why I never died, because I have something to do.
He still wants you to be
Yeah, he
alive.
still wants me to be
He
there.
has a plan with you.
I've been the chair lady of the building committee in our church. We are building at home. It is just this year I handed over to another lady, but still I'm within.
There's a song that says when God has a plan or another plan, he simply chooses someone. John, your final words even as we end. Words of encouragement.
Yeah, what I would say is that we become positive about some of these things. I'm not a medic, but I'm told some of these things we need to, what is the word? I'm looking for screening.
Okay.
So that you get to know what is happening. I think we were lucky because this was discovered while she was in another country.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe if we were here, we would have, you know,
Okay.
So
Ma'am,
we'll be positive.
Ma'am, your final words, maybe a line of
To encourage
encouragement.
somebody.
Yeah, to encourage somebody. Recently, after the death of Laboso, the people are talking so much about building oncology centers and screening. Screening alone is very expensive. Mammogram itself is over about 1,000 just to check on the breast, and it is just a matter of just touching like this. That's 1,000. How about these other things? And again, treatment of colorectal cancer is very expensive. Because that time I was going for treatment, those with breast cancers were getting free treatment. Me, I was buying drugs. And there was a drug I was buying, even 16,000. I thank God that people came to my support. If I was to buy, I could not have afforded.
Okay.
And I saw another lady in the TV. Let me just finish that. There was a lady who was being interviewed with colorectal cancer in KCB 3 days ago. She has done it for 2 years, treatment which she was supposed to get for within 6 months because of lack of money. There are people dying back there. So we should go back to the drawing board and go to our eating habits, the old eating habits. Because we have copied the Western. I told you there they don't eat vegetables and they have very ugly vegetables.
That is a strong statement.
If we go back to Eden, we're going to fight a lot of cancers.
Richard, end this show. We are out of time.
I can't add anything more. What Mama said today touches our hearts. There's a lot of wisdom and a lot of teaching in what she has said. We need to watch ourselves. But if anything, we need to rely on God.
Thank you. Just that. We need to watch. We need to rely on God. Family Times, the best place to be.